Hey everybody. Happy Sunday. See, I'm going to try to adjust this just a little bit more. You have to tell me, I was in the process. I didn't quite get my card put all together, but I'll get it done here in a little bit. Oh, shoot, I just lost us. There we go. Hold on. Happy Sunday. Try to adjust this just a little bit more. You have to tell me, I was in the process. I didn't quite get my card put all together, but... Ah, there's Kim. Hi, Kim. We'll wait for a couple more people to join us. Hi, Lori. Okay, so I have been wondering how to say your name, and I'm probably going to slaughter it. Is it Engine? Ah, there's Kim. Hi, Kim. We'll wait for a couple more people to join us. Hi, Lori. You can hear me twice. Thank you, Kim. Ah, there we go. Now it turned off my my sound on my computer. These videos are always a interesting comedy with me, I swear. So I was just getting my little bird. Hi, Melanie. I was just getting my little bird ready to put on my card here. He's gonna perch right about here. Looks like I gotta adjust my dots a little bit. Got too many on the back end there. Today we're gonna color, hi Pat, Janan, there we go. Is that right, Janan? So thank you for being with me today. I wanna say that I have had so much fun. I am still in my pajamas. I have had a chance this time, for the first time, to participate pretty much in all of the videos that we did and to play along, and I've learned so much, and I'm anxious to sit down tonight before bed and start looking through all of the albums and seeing what everybody's been doing. I've been seeing snippets of it, but I've been sort of busy with this, that, and the other thing, but mostly I've just been playing and really enjoying this amazing spring crop. So I hope that you guys have been having it too. Hi, Mary Pat. Hi, Teresa. Oh, I know, pants with a real waistband. Melanie, I'm not all that sure that I'm going to get pants that have a real waistband on, to be honest with you. I still have to go into the office every day, but because there are so few people in the office, most of my group is teleworking, so I've been wearing sweatpants, and so that's one of the things that's nice about it. I don't have to dress in my formal office wear to get there, at least. But yeah, I've been really glad to play along too, Kim. It's been so fun. I can't believe all the things that I've learned today. And yesterday too. So I just wanted to tell you guys that one of the things that I learned that was kind of eye-opening for me is that I am a really fast colorer, especially when I know what I want to color, or when I'm just playing. And I realized that I probably color kind of fast for others too. So I'm going to try to slow it down, because I felt like as I was watching the videos, I was like, oh, wait a sec, what happened there? And I'm so thankful for the replay, which is awesome, but I'm going to try to be a little more conscious and give people a chance to catch up with me, because I do know that I talk really fast and I tend to color kind of fast. Plus it's hard when we're doing these videos and we get our hands in the way of what we're coloring, and then by the time we move it, we're on to the next step. So I don't know how many of you who are coloring with me today, but it'd be great to know. Thanks, Melanie. I actually planned my papers ahead of time so I could kind of pick my colors, but I was trying to color my bird similar to how Danielle colored her hummingbird. She gave me this amazing bookmark for my birthday. Look at that thing. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? It's like amazing. I look at it and I just can't believe how pretty it is. So I thought, you know, these little hummingbirds can be colored so many different ways. I thought I would try and do it the way she did it. Of course, hers is much more realistic and gorgeous. Mine is going to be more whimsical, of course, so it'll be fun. Okay, so let's see. What is one of the funnest things you guys have done or learned over this weekend? I'm giving people a chance to kind of pop in if they want to. Don't want to hold us up too much though, because I know we might all be wanting a snack before long. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Mary Pat. For the one that I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a similar color scheme to what this one is, but for the second card, I've picked a different paper scheme, and I think it'll really pop on it. So I'm doing this yellows and grays. I'm just going to slide it over here for a sec. So I'm going to do the yellow, no French accent, like Janan, with a hard J. Janan. Janan? Janan. We're going to get it. I promise. My name's hard for people too. I have to spell it kind of funny. Pat says, I've only done 2 challenges, but I love the double easel. That was absolutely amazing. I still need to try that one too. I'm still trying to find my craft foam to finish my shaker card that Carla showed us, which was really fun. And I was having a lot of fun coloring along with Allison on the different clothing things. I need to go back and finish a couple of those things too. So it's been really fun. The paper pack that I'm using, in case any of you are curious, is this Doodlebug Love Notes pack, and I think Kim had it in the Shop the Box at one point in time. So it's really fun. It's a fun paper pack. And then that wood piece of paper that I had on my other one is from this very old one. I don't even know where I picked this up ages ago. It's got all these different wood grain papers. I'm trying to make myself be better about using what I have, but it's hard because I love all the new stuff too. So you too, Mary Pat. It's driving me crazy because I know I've got it somewhere, but I don't know where it is. So all right, well, let's get going. It says I'm doing challenge 3, fascination with shaker cards. Oh, good, that's awesome. And then the slim card. Yep, I have only made 2 slim cards, and so that's fun in my entire crafty career. So it's really fun to try something different. Melanie says, I may have foam stashed away in the basement. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah. Okay, friends, well, let's start coloring. Let's start having some fun. I hope this is in the frame enough for everybody. Can you see? I'm going to get my readers on because my eyes are tired from all the coloring I've been doing this weekend. So, and I'll try to look up, and like I said, I'm going to try to go a little slower this time and make this kind of a conversation while I color. So using my other card, I'm just going to get it up here in the corner where I can keep an eye on it. Let's see, I don't want to make it too confusing though. Let's see here. How are we doing? Okay, so I'm going to start with the flower. And what I did there is, the first thing I did was I mapped out a kind of how I wanted my lighting to go. So I was, let me back up for a sec. I'm sorry. So this is the April sketch that I'm using. I don't have my bird on there all the way, and I have to finish it. I'm going to put a little tag or something right down here. But I just wanted to show you, I love sketches. I absolutely love sketches because it seems like when I'm stuck for inspiration, a sketch will help me, it'll jumpstart it. It'll either make me think of colors or it'll make me think of certain stamp sets that would look great with that sketch. So I love sketches. Sometimes I follow them to the T, and sometimes I kind of improvise a little bit. So like in this case, I'm tipping my oval a little bit and I'm adding an element at the top, but it's kind of the basics. And that's really what's great about sketches, is it gets your brain thinking and in a different and creative way. So now let's color. So light source. I am not by any means, any stretch of the imagination, a expert on light source. So I'm going to say that right up front, and if it seems like I'm doing it wrong, well, that's okay, because it's my way of doing it. And but what I did do with this one is I knew I wanted to kind of tip the flower on my oval. So I know that if my flower is tipped, I'm imagining that my sun is going to come from this direction. And so I'm going to put my darker colors around here, and I'm going to have my lighter color right in here. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I apologize, I just realized I'm saying so a ton. So, suck your toe all the way. So I'm going to put my light color in here, just so I remember that that's kind of where I want it to be. And then I'll start with my darker color. And I color dark to light. Sometimes I regret that, but it just seems to work well for me. So I apologize. I don't think I put this E99 in the color palette if we posted it. But I'm using E99, and right now I'm just going in, and all I'm doing is just dotting in the little crevices of the petals. And then I'm also going to dot in these little specks. Yep, Kim, I agree. I just love sketches. I know some people don't. They think they're kind of restrictive, and that's okay. For me, though, man, when I'm stuck, I love a sketch. It just gives me a framework to work within. If I just have to start with a completely blank palette, sometimes I'm so, I don't know, just really, really stuck. Like I don't know what to do. It's too much to think about sometimes. So that was E99. And now I'm going to do E19. And I'm just going to come in where I just did already that darker, and I'm going to feather in some of this dark yellow. So I'm going over what I've already done, because I don't want it to stay brown. I want it to kind of blend in. So I'm flicking, pulling it up and out, giving it a reason to move. And like I said, so my flower is going to be tipped, so I'm going to come, the sun's going to come this direction, so I'm going to get a little thinner down here. Oh, goodness gracious, I forgot to do some of those little dots. How silly of me. But over here, where I know that I still have more dark until it moves in, I'm just going to fill that in a little bit more. Let's see here. Let's go in and fill out our so probably I'm going to come back in with a second layer. Next, I am going to Y15, and I'm just going to go over the top of what I've already done, and I'm using the side of my marker, and I'm kind of pulling it out because I want it to blend a little bit better. Coming a little bit further than I was before, just a little. All right, and then I'm going to move to Y13. Excuse me. And again, I'm just pulling my color. I realized over the course of this weekend that my poor markers need some serious TLC. I found so many colors that were just about completely dried. Some were really gunky. I need to clean the tips of things. So part of what I was doing too when I was designing this card was making sure I had markers that worked for the colors that I wanted to use so that I didn't find myself in a pickle when we were ready to go. All right, so, and it'll keep kind of blending as we've gone over it. Now, very last, I'm going to do the Y11. And again, I'm just pulling color. It's very saturated now. Got pretty glow on the top. Okay. The equivalent to Bob Ross. You need, oh, a happy little tree that lives right here. How's that? Melanie, I love you. I miss you. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's the yellow part of our tree. Happy little tree that lives right here. That's funny. All right, that's our yellow. Next, we're gonna work on our pink series, and I've chosen, I've realized too, I'm a little bit like lacking in my RV section, but I'm gonna make what I have work. Who's late? Oh, Roberta, you're not late, you're right on time. We're happy you're here. Bobby Lynn Ross. As long as you don't call me Danny. I hate to be called Danny. Ugh, I don't like that. I don't know why. I never did like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do the pinks, and I am coloring with Melanie. I'm coloring starting with R55, and I keep tipping this because I'm remembering that I wanna kind of map out where my shadows are and where the light's coming from. So I know that all of this down here is the darker part of my flower. So I'm going to be kind of generous about laying down the color there. Oh, hey, I think, Kim, you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this set, the Love Bug set, is on sale this weekend. Is that right? I kicked my dogs outside because they're being ridiculous. And now they're scratching at the door. I may have to get up and let them in. We'll see. All right, and so this one is still very dark, so we're just gonna keep our darkers here. It is on sale. Good, that's what I thought. Okay, awesome. I know that a lot of people fell in love with this set when it came out initially, and the Happy Hummingbirds too, and I was kind of hoping that some of you have the set so that you will be inspired to color it up. But if you don't have the Love Bug set, you must have that set. I'm telling you, you gotta have that set. It's so stinking cute. Only till tonight though, that's right, okay. So, all right, so those are my darker ones. So now I know that these ones are gonna start getting a little more light. So they are mostly going to be, let's see, being a little sloppy here because I know I'm gonna fill it in. Oops, don't wanna get in my yellow. Oh, thank you, Kim, for the link. Thank you, thank you. And actually that one I'm probably going to want to pull out a little bit more because, again, the sun is right on there. This one's still tucked behind, so we're going to kind of go from there. Okay, peeps, what you think? How's it looking? Is it looking like we're doing okay here? All right, so that was R55. And then I chose R14 as my next color. And I'm just gonna go over what I already put down. And at the end, I'm gonna go back again with the R55. So I'm leaving some amount of space in there because I'm still gonna use an RV 13 and an RV 11. These bottom ones, I'm just coating pretty much the darker because I know that they are tucked behind. And again, I'm not an expert, but you know, that's kind of how thankfully the drawing tells me that that is the truth. Oh, my stomach's gonna growl. I don't know what I'm making for dinner tonight. My poor husband has had to fend for himself the last couple of, well, last night especially, and today so far, because I just have been having so much fun, and he's just had to take care of himself. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can How's the pace, you guys? Is this too slow? Is it okay? I don't know if anybody's actually coloring along or just watching. So if you're mostly just watching, I won't try to be so precise, just to, I don't want to keep you here all day. Let's see, I'm gonna check. Oops, my computer just disappeared. I better go back. There we go. Hi, Carla. Let's see. Thank you, Pat. And Mary Pat. Pat and Mary Pat. Okay, let's see. So there, we've got those colors down. Now we're gonna move to RV 13. You're watching while painting. Oh, I haven't even started on our May release. I need to do that. If you guys thought April was awesome, you are gonna think May is awesome too. It's amazing, 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 amazing. Okay, oops, wrong one, sorry. R13 is my next one. I can't talk and do this at the same time, apparently. And now I'm just gonna go over everything that I did. So far I've used RV55, and now I am going over, and then I did RV14. Now I'm going over it with RV13. And I can count, so we're good there. Okay. Yeah, my husband's really great at breakfast stuff. He's the best at fried eggs and all kinds of breakfast stuff, but his other specialties include tuna noodle casserole, hot dogs, tuna noodle casserole, hot dogs, biscuits and gravy. Of course, that's kind of breakfasty. So, I don't know. You know, I used to love to cook, but now that my kids don't live at home, I don't really like to cook as much as I used to. All right, I'm just kind of going back over it. It's, you know, I'm not being super smooth. That's okay. I'm kind of imagining that that's a light source, maybe. Mine's been spoiling you since you started back to work full-time. Oh, how nice. That's a keeper, if you ask me. I see that I've kind of gone outside the line, so I'm going to go in and move this quick before it sets too much. And that's one of the really nice things about the lighter Copics is they move, they'll, you know, kind of push the darker color back if you need it to. So there, how we doing? Let's see here. Okay, so then the last one I was gonna do is, yeah, the RV11. And this one is a lot lighter than the others, so it washes out quite a bit what you go over. And it'll give it kind of a softer look. So I'm gonna focus, I'm coming this way again, so I'm focusing on the parts that I think are gonna get the sunlight the best, the most. Ooh, he brought you a Timmy's. You are so spoiled. That Al is such a good guy. I like Al. Okay, let's see. So, okay. There we are. I'm just gonna move a little of the color that I've done, if I can find it, outside the lines because I am gonna fussy cut it later and I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world. So I'm just gonna bump it out of the way a little bit so I don't end up with a funky spot. Your family says you can cook things. Oh, MasterCard or Visa. Cute. I'm starting to feel that way too. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, I used to love to cook, but with, you know, it's hard to cook for two people and it's not, I don't know, just not as satisfying not having my kids home. But it is fun because my daughter calls a lot and wants recipes that I used to serve all the time when she was home. So I like that. Next is the stem. And I did that in the G series. So first I've got the G28. And I'm gonna start just by putting ever so carefully a little bit of green down the stem. And then your mom calls it cussy-futtin'. Yep. Oh, I totally knew what you meant, Roberta. I didn't read it right, but I had you. I know what you mean. Alrighty, let's see here. And then this is G24, which is my next, and I'm just gonna pull it out again. I'm kind of feathering down along the sides, and I'm going to extend it just a little bit more. That way I just have more room to cut if I want to later. You still love to cook because, yeah. So it's not even so much about cooking for me, Mary Pat, as it is, I mean, baking though, oh my gosh, yeah, I still like to bake. I have a terrible sweet tooth. All right, this is G21. And then I'm going to use my lightest G, which is my G20, and I'm just going to kind of pull it in streaky. Maybe it'll just kind of lighten it up and make it look better. And then as a final step, I'm going to just go back quick. Whoops, I keep opening the wrong end of my, I hate the cleanup afterward. Yeah, I don't know. I'd almost, like if I'm not the cook, I don't mind the cleaning up. But if I'm the cook and the cleanup, I really don't like that at all. So, and my husband is really good about helping out with that, that's for sure. So, even though he doesn't have a lot of specialties to cook, he's very handy with helping clean up. So I'm going back over, oops, upside down. I'm going back one more time on the very tips with the RB55, now that it's kind of dried a little bit. Just kind of deepening the middles again. Make sure my hand's not in the way. Yep, it works so great when one does the cooking and the other does the dishes, that's for sure. I laughed at my mom when my dad never, ever, I mean, we always had dinner at 6 o'clock on the dot when I was a kid growing up, always. And Dad, you know, he'd show up right in time, sit down, we'd eat dinner, and then he'd get up and go do his thing, and my sisters and I and Mom would pick up the dishes and everything. And I just always thought that's how it was, you know, that the ladies did that and the guys didn't. And I was home, well, this was many years later, probably at least about 15 years ago. We were home and Mom had invited us over for Sunday dinner. Hi, Patty. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Mom had invited us over for Sunday dinner, and we got done eating, and my dad got up and he picked up his plate, and he picked up a couple other people's plates, and he started kind of cleaning stuff up, and I just about fell out of my chair. And I said to my mom, is he okay? Is he feeling okay? I've never seen Dad do that before. And she's so funny. She's very sassy sometimes. She says, well, I just told him, you know, you don't have broken legs and broken arms. You can get up and take your plate to the sink just as easy as me. She said, if I'd have realized all I had to do was tell him that I wanted him to do it years ago, I wouldn't have ever had to worry about it. And I was like, wow, well, there you go. Okay, so now you're knowing lots about me. All right, so I'm just filling in a little bit more of the darker spaces, or what I might think might be the darker spaces where there's one behind the other. And now I'm kind of shifting gears because these ones here are going to be more on the underside. Okay, so I think we got that done. Now we can start on our little hummingbird. Let's see here. Okay, so for the hummingbird, now I got to keep my little guy here so I can see kind of what I'm doing. I used, the grays are my C markers, and the blues are the BG series. So I have a, where did it go? So for the blues, I have a BG 49, a BG 13, and a BG 11. For the greens, I have a YG 13, a YG 06, YG 11, and G 14. Just in case you're grabbing anything to go along with it. All right. First thing I did, oh, thank you, Roberta. The very first thing I did, don't you think, I think it's gonna look really pretty on the yellow, don't you? I think that's gonna look really cool. The first thing I did with the hummingbird to kind of separate out his wings, I'm gonna move this over here so I can kind of remember what I did, was to sort of map off where I wanted the separation to be, I guess. So I'm going to start, and it's handy to have this little line to kind of know that this is my starting point here, where I can kind of, and I'm not going to be super precise about it, I'm just kind of putting it in there so that I can, and then it moves down and around. I'm just kind of putting it in there so I know where I want it to be, not being super precise with it. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark out where I want the eye, or the darker color around the eye to be. I think I really want that to come a little bit deeper this time. So there's that. And let's see, that part is the blue, so I'm just gonna put some, again, some just dividers in there. So all I've done right now is just kind of give myself an opportunity to know that I want some stopping points along the way, so I know where I'm at with it. I'll start with my blues on the head, and I'm gonna first do the lightest. This is one of those times where, well, I say I always color dark to light, but the truth is when it's a smaller image, I tend to start with the lighter just in case. So I'm gonna start with the light, and I'm just gonna give it the color all the way around the head, because I know that I want it, this whole part of its little head, to be light. And down here, I know that I also am gonna have some more of the blue. So I'm gonna put it in here as well. There's so many gorgeous hummingbirds. Oh my goodness, they are just so beautiful. I love hummingbirds. That was the lightest, and that was BG11. Then now that I've laid my color down, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my darkest, which is my BG49. And I keep opening the wrong end of the marker. There we go, BG49. And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just start filling in some of the places that I want to be the darkest for sure. And I'm not being real precise quite yet. I'm just getting it in there. The happy little tree, it's so funny. Okay. And let's see here. I also want to do just a little bit there and around the wing. And then I'm gonna just kind of feather in. And this is my darkest still, so I'm just kind of messing around with it still. Gonna connect the dots there, if you will. Oops, quit that. All right. Next would be the BG, I forgot what color it is, 13. And I'm gonna come in and kind of feather in. And then one more time, I'm gonna fill in everything with the BG11. Pull it all back in there. Smooth it out a little bit. And then because feathers are hard for me to color, oh, thank you, Kim. I want to give it a little texture, and I'm not good at feathers necessarily, so what I did was I dotted in, I'm just gonna leave that up here for a sec. I took my BG13 and I just did teeny tiny little dots. This works for fur, so I thought, why the heck not? It might work well for feathers as well if we just kind of fill it in. At least it gives it some depth. And then I can always come back in and kind of put a couple little flicks here or there. We're gonna give it kind of a spotted belly. And I am barely touching the end of this marker. I tend to be very heavy-handed. I'm usually like pounce, but today I'm just barely touching. And I'm, you know, if you feel like you've done too many, the nice thing is you then come through with the lighter. Hi, Sabrina. Let's see, so then you come through with the lighter again and just kind of, it should break it up a tad if you've gotten a little too many in there that you didn't want. I actually do want a few more in there. I want it to be a little more obvious, so I'm gonna see how the lighter marker really moves the color. All right, and then last, well, I think I'll wait. I was gonna put the dark back in, but I think since I haven't done the face and I don't want to accidentally pull too much of that dark color, that happens to me a lot. Actually, I get right up to the line and then I have it bleed into there. So I'm going to wait and do my other color in there and then come back in and add my darks where I want it to be. Next, I think I will work on the greens, and I'm going to follow a same process where I start with the lightest color on the face, and this is my YG11. So I'm going to come in and color that. And the wings. Okay, the wings. So we're going to do this. Next would be, let's see, I believe I did 06 next, just to get a baseline of the darkers. And this is YG06. This time I'm gonna try to fake feathers. Why not? We're gonna just play around and see what happens. I'm just gonna do some squiggly lines and maybe it'll just look like enough texture that it works. Let's see what happens. All right. Then I'm gonna use my YG13 and fill in the gaps of everything else I've just done. And I'm not being real precise at all, as you can see. I'm just trying to create the extra sections in the oh, thank you, Sabrina. I love your hummingbirds. It's such an awesome little set. Coming back in with the YG11. I'm just kind of doing a wash on it. I don't want to undo what I just worked to do, so I just am kind of dotting it in there, hoping to keep some sense of what I just did in there. And then the last color I did on the Hummingbird's green, was I came in with this G14, and ever so little bits I just kind of filled in. I actually don't like how dark that looks, but I'm going to leave it alone and see if when I add the gray it doesn't look so dark. That's kind of one of the things to look at. Excuse me for 1 minute, I'm going to let my doggies in because they're scratching like crazy and it is chilly outside. Well, little stinkers disappeared by the time I got there, so here I am again. All right, so let's do the gray parts next. And that, again, is my C series. I have a C5, C3, C00, and a C1. So we'll start with the C00. And, oops, I must have really bumped that. Is it really super shaky? Is that better? Oh, no worries, Kim. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna coat the whole wing with my C00. And I'm just laying down a base. That's all I'm doing. I'm not being particular about how smooth it is, because I know that I'm going to be adding some other color to it, darker color to it. And I don't really necessarily want it to be white. I want it to be gray. I'm gonna give his little beak. Okay, so just a real fast gray wash on that. Then let's see, let's do C3 next. And we're gonna come in and I'm just gonna kind of glad actually I didn't mess with that, because now that I'm putting the gray up against it, it doesn't look so weird. Oopsie, I shouldn't have done that. That's all right, we're gonna just leave it alone. Wrong cap again. Yep. Darn, I don't know why, you know, it's so obvious too. It's just silly. Let's see here. Okay. A little darker on the underside. We're gonna blend that in a little bit once we get it on there, so I'm okay with that. So all I've done now is just kind of fill in some areas so that I can have kind of a roadmap of what I want next. I am going to come in though real quick, move this up here, I don't want to lose you here, and make this just a little darker. And then I'm going to come in there we go. All right, next I'm going to do the darkest C that I have today, and I'm paying attention to my caps, C5, and now I'm going to do some of my flicking. Add a couple from the top. Can you hear my dogs? Alrighty, I'm gonna need to turn this just a little bit. Sorry for getting my hand in the way. Should try to be quick here. I don't want to flick it so much that it looks like, I don't know, like a grassy border or something. So I'm going to try to put some roundness to it, I guess. It doesn't feel so, I don't know if that helped or not. We'll see. All right, and then I'm going to bring in, so this part of his little body is the darkest. My lines are not as nice as they were on the first one by any means. All right, and then I'm just going to put a little of the darker in there where the spots are the darkest. Let's see, and around the eye again, I want it to be a little darker. Just kind of keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then around the beak, a little definition around the beak. Maybe just a little bit at the end, on the underside. Okay. Oh, thank you, Roberta. I found myself holding my breath on that last little bit. Like, oh, all of a sudden I realized I was holding my breath and my shoulders were clear up in the air. All right, so now I'm going to take my C1 and I am going to kind of flick in a little bit more here. Thank you for commenting every so often too. Oh, thanks, Pat. It's nice because all of a sudden when we're coloring along and we look up and we realize we haven't been paying attention and we don't see that anything has moved, my heart kind of stops for a second. I think that maybe I've been doing something for a long time and it's just been gone and I haven't even realized it. So gotta look up every so often. All right, and then the eye. filling in the darker areas. So this is the C1. I should probably put it down so you guys can see it. All right, and then I'm going to come back again with the C00 and fill in. I might actually even, yeah, there we go. I was going to say I want it to be just a tiny bit darker. So there's that. So now I'm just going to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Not much, just a little. Because like I said, I don't really want it to be white. We're all gone. Thank you. Thank you, Roberta. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna come, and you know, it's funny because my C markers are a little bit dirty. I did notice that, and so I don't want to build too much on top of them because then they start to get all gummy and shiny, which drives me crazy. Oh, well, no wonder that was so weird. I got it. Okay. Colored pencil. So the last thing that I do is I just want to fill in. I want to make its little eye darker. So I'm going to fill that in. And I'm looking for my, there it is, my colorless, the magic colorless blender. Because like I'm going to fussy cut again, but I want to try to get some of my boo-boos out of the way since I'm not a very good fussy cutter. Or a cussy fudder, right? So I'm going to make this little eye darker. I just have a black, I use a Prismacolor pencils. It's just the black on this one. And I'm gonna deepen the line where the eye was. And then I'm just gonna ever so lightly shade a little bit more. And I mean light, 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 light. Just so that it has some color more toward the back. And I'm going to fill this little beacon again. And I had sort of a line going on there for a bit that disappeared while I was coloring. So I'm going to put that back in. And then I'm going to come over here where I need it to be a little darker, and I'm just going to fill in all of those little spaces that I want to stand out. So the thing that I often forget, I don't know if you guys ever do this or not, but since I've been learning to sort of incorporate colored pencils and in with my Copics at the same time to just add extra, I don't know, details, depth, whatever you want to call it, I guess. But there's been times that I've messed up and tried to color over the top of something with my Copic that I had then put my pencil on. So I have to remember to be really sure that I feel like I'm done with what I want to do with my Copics before I go in and try to enhance it, if you will, with my colored pencils. All right, and so the last thing that I did is I grabbed this little, it's the light aqua. Thank you, Kim. And I thought, well, you know, I'm just gonna give it just a little tiny bit of a bluish color around the eye. So I'm just, again, very, very softly touching that up a little bit right in that area, bringing in where I did the brown, or I'm sorry, the black too, just so that there's still some shading. I don't want it to look like a mean hummingbird, so I want to keep it a mean hummingbird. All right, and then I'm just gonna mess with this a little bit just because I just feel like I should. And then, oh, thank you, Sabrina. And then I'm just, like I said, I didn't want it to be white, and I don't, but I just feel like I have kind of a sloppy blending, if you will. But that's okay. I mean, really, too, if I think about it, A, it's handmade, and B, it is feathers that I just said I don't know how to do. So I'm just going to come back over where I just did that, and I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of white. And honestly, the other thing I need to learn to do is to not brush it off with my finger, because I do have one of those fan brushes, but I have no idea where it's at. My craft room is an absolute disaster right now. Thank you, Kim, for putting that link in there. So I'm just constantly, I feel like, looking for something because I don't want to take the time to clean and organize my space. So that's like true confession today, you guys. I'm telling you all kinds of stuff. All right, and then just to kind of I just want to smooth that out because I did make it look a little harsher than I wanted it, so hopefully this will help. I don't use Gamma-Sol. I have no idea what that is. I'm still just learning. I mean, I know what it is, but I have not used it. And I see that it's really cool in the sense of smoothing things out, but I find that sometimes I can do it pretty okay with my white pencil too. Okay, I think, hi Sheila. I think that that'll do it. I'm gonna put my pencil down. Oh, no, I lied. I see one more spot I wanna do really quick here. Just make it, there we go. I like how nicely the hummingbird coordinates with this love bug set. I think it's really, because hummingbirds love any kind of flower, of course. And then I'm gonna watercolor. I'm not a very good watercolorer, but I'm learning, I'm practicing, I'm playing. But I did this cute little scene with the love bug flowers again, and one of the adorable little fairies from the new fairy set. And I'm going to try watercoloring it, but look how well that coordinates with this as well. So like I said, and Kim confirmed, these love bug set and these gorgeous flowers are on sale, but just till the end of today. So hopefully, if you love it and you don't have it, it's a great time to pick it up. Let's see, what have we got for comments? Roberta says, my husband has insisted that we try to organize my craft room next weekend. I say, my husband knows that is totally not his territory. He has to stay out of there completely. Kim has, we need to have a craft space cleaning challenge. No kidding. I wonder if anybody'd actually participate in that one. Hi, Carrie. And Kim said, Kim just posted the last challenge. That's awesome. So, and I think I'm the last live for the weekend. So thank you very much for being with me. I'm not going to fussy cut this with you guys watching because, like I said, it's terrible, but I will finish it and I will post it on the card with the sketch like we talked about, so you can see, look how pretty those colors are gonna look. I can't tell actually, there's such a lag if I'm in frame. I hope I am, but look how pretty those colors are gonna look. This paper back here is a wood grain with the dots. I think it's gonna look really cool. So anyway, well, I'm so glad Sabrina cleaned her desk. Oh, well, that's good. And I saw your picture. It's gorgeous, too. Your desk is really cool. Hard pass on that challenge. Yeah. Okay, everybody. It was so fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I love it. I love to visit with you. I hope that even all I did was just color. Maybe you picked up some new little technique or tidbit or something. And I hope that I've inspired you maybe to take a peek at that April sketch that we've got out there and do something fun with it. So thanks so much. Bye everybody. Bye Roberta. Bye Sheila. Kim. All right. See you all. Bye Patty.